Hey, babe, welcome back to another episode of the Money, Mindset, and Manicures podcast. You're really going to enjoy this episode because if you are into health and wellness and always trying to do things better with your body and your lifestyle and your health, which I'm guessing because you even are listening to this podcast, I know that you are, but I don't know about you, but I always love to kind of hear new tips and hacks of things I could do to make myself and my family healthier. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about ways that you can start doing different things to help, quote unquote, detox your body so that not only you can manifest more better things in your life, because when we do have a healthy body, it's our beautiful temple. It's the only place we're ever going to live in this reality. When it's healthy, we feel better, we act better, we take action on things, right? We are just happy and a joy to not only be with ourselves, but to be around. Like everything is just so much better when you feel good. So what I'm going to dive into, and this question comes from a member from our Marriage Scripting Sisterhood community. Her name is Ariana Kennedy. And she asked in the group, I would like to talk more about methods and ways of detoxification of the body and keeping our temple healthy and whole. And I love questions like this because far before I even started on my manifesting journey, I was very much into health and wellness. I used to be in the fitness space a long time ago. It feels like another lifetime at this point. But I was a fitness influencer. I was a coach. I was a trainer in like gyms. I taught classes. I sold programs online, that sort of stuff. So I have been in the world of very much being in that health and wellness space where it was always top of mind for me. And as I got older, I just started to learn new things that I didn't really think were issues with doing. And I'm really excited to share those things with you today because Mark is my fiance, we're at a point now where we are just a very low tox household and family. And we really, truly understand the consequences of eating like crap or having a lot of toxins in the home. And we have seen huge benefit by making these really simple changes into our life that has created a beautiful, just not necessarily detoxification of our systems, but we just feel healthier. Like we rarely ever get sick. Like I'm not kidding you. Like even throughout the entire pandemic, we never got sick. We traveled a lot during that time. We never got sick. Even in the past couple years, I think we've maybe gotten sick once or twice. And honestly, I also think it's from moving to Austin and being exposed to new allergens. And I really do believe it's the cedar trees, but sometimes I think it's a cold. I don't know. But it's kind of shocking when Mark and I reflect back on our whole kind of relationship of the last 4 or 5, even before him, 5 years for me, even longer. I rarely even ever get sick and I'm always feeling good. And it's been a combination of these different things that I know I'm incorporating into my life to help support my detox pathways. Now, the body, I am not going to disagree. I also, in a previous life, I was studying medicine. I was going to be going to med school. I was studying all the things with the human body. I know that our bodies can detox things out of our system. Hello, our liver, our kidneys, our lymphatic system. Those systems all help and work together to support, to remove the junk out of our bodies, right? But what I believe to be true in this day and age, that we live in one of the most polluted environments, I think, in the history of time, right? Like just think about it. Our foods are incredibly polluted. They are sprayed with lots of chemicals. Like even if you're eating quote unquote organic, like they're still able to spray a little bit on them. Like it's not fully, truly organic. Our soils are depleted. So you're not actually even getting all of the vitamins and minerals and nutrition from those fruits and vegetables and stuff from the earth because our soil is mostly depleted of all of those things that those foods would get. And then let's talk about our air quality, right? Like if you still live and believe that chemtrails aren't a thing, 2 states just passed a law for them to not allow to spray chemtrails in their skies. So if you still live and believe that chemtrails aren't a thing, they are. They're polluting our air. And I'm no conspiracy theorist like this is a real thing. So now you got our air that's polluted. You've got our food that's polluted. Our water has been polluted since day one. Like, let's just talk about the fluoride and the crap and all the toxins. And now how a lot of cities is starting to pass like the recirculation of water, of cleaning that. It's not going to ever be fully filtered of everything. And then what else? Let's talk about our actual other food, apart the stuff that comes from the earth, talking about all the processed food. It is so hard to even go in a grocery store and try to get any sort of basic food, even if it's just bread or just some sort of basic cereal without some sort of additive. Everything has color. Everything has corn syrup. Everything has canola oil. Everything has all of these ingredients in it that is screwing us up. It's backing up our detox pathways, right? And then from there, let's talk about clothing. And for ladies, or just anyone who loves to wear makeup and all these different products and stuff like that. Like, we are just now at a point where nothing is regulated anymore for our health. Everything, I feel, is coming at us to make us unhealthy and sick. Because at the end of the day, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I do truly believe like our government doesn't have our best interest. I really, truly believe that they don't. They want to keep a population that is unhealthy and sick because they're easier to control. And there's plenty of proof of that. Look at obesity rates in our nation and our world. Look at the amount of cancer. Look at the amount of different diseases or disabilities and stuff that kids are born with. Like, all of that, right? Like, it's no coincidence that when I was a child, I maybe knew one kid throughout kindergarten, elementary, high school, even going into college, one kid that had cancer. And I moved around. I moved to a different country. And in my home country, it didn't exist. And the first time I knew someone was in America. And now I feel like every single person, like there's some sort, I either know someone or I know someone that knows someone, that is very sick, that has cancer, that has all these different things, right? This isn't genetic. And it doesn't take a scientist to figure that out, what's going on, right? And this is why we are now in a time and age where we have to take radical responsibility for our health. We have to do the research. We have to start implementing the things in our homes in order for us to be healthy, to help us support our bodies. Because right now we are at a point where, yes, years and years and decades ago, yeah, you could maybe, eat some processed food and, drink the tap water. But now when you're mixing in, you're going outside, you're breathing the shitty air, you are now eating food that's polluted. You are also putting and spraying chemicals on your body. You're living in a home filled with toxins. You're now taking that all in. And all of this combined, your body gets to a point where it's getting overloaded. And when your detox pathways are overloaded, what happens? They stop working. You get sick. That's why you get sick. That's why you start gaining weight. That's why all of these, it's that domino effect of all of these things happening. And I know this may be triggering some of you, but it's like once you get it and see it and you combine it all together, it's undeniable. And even though I don't have a degree in medicine or anything like that, like I do my due diligence. I've done the homework because I've been in it and I've seen too many people around me get sick, get cancer, all of these things. And I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that I don't get that my family doesn't get that Mark doesn't get that, right? Even my dog, even Milo, he has never ate a bowl of kibble in his life. Like when we got him, we were cooking him his food. We would get all the chicken, the meat, the fresh vegetables, all of that. Like we spend so much money on this dog to be healthy. It's because I know the effects of when you're feeding someone crap. Like, of course, the chain reaction of illness issues. And I just don't want that for him. Nor do we want to spend money down the road on different treatments that are preventable. So a lot of things I feel in our reality with our health are so preventable. But it all starts with you even just caring enough to take that little step to make a tweak. So I know this maybe sounds just all very charged, but I am just so freaking passionate because I just feel so many people just start playing that victim, that blame game of, oh, my health, I get sick because it's genetics. Oh, well, I gain weight and this and that because of genetics. Oh, this is because of my hormones. And all of it starts getting disrupted with everything that you're eating, the things in your home, the things in your environment, all of that, which is all preventable. We just have to give enough crap about it to be able to change it. And I know there is something on this list that I'm going to share with you today that you can take and change to start making an impact with your family. A lot of times when you first start making these shifts, they are hard because we are so programmed that it is okay. The first things that I ever started with that were really, really hard was candles and perfume. That was the first thing to go. This is after health supplements and stuff, but this is like the first big, like, oh my God, I have to change this. And I didn't believe it at first. I didn't believe it that the scented candles I was burning or the perfume that I was spraying on myself, like, hello, I grew up in the era of Bath and Body Works. Okay. We were the ones running and going to the sales and buying every single perfume or even the Victoria's Secret, like perfumes and body sprays. Like that's the era that I grew up in. I was dousing my body for like, I feel like a decade in this shit chemical stuff. Right. And then even candles, burning those candles and then learning about the toxicity of even burning candles. What? How? That can't be true. Everyone does it. Right. But after learning even just how all of those things just disrupt your hormones and even just all those toxins coming in, like your body has to detox those out. Right. Like just think about it. Just think about a trash can. Think about your detoxification systems as a trash can. The more trash you put in it, the faster you put it in it, right? Imagine if you left your trash can in your home. I don't know how fast you fill up your trash cans. I feel for Mark and I, we I don't know, like once a week. I don't know, maybe more. I don't know. He takes the trash out. I don't. But the example here is imagine if you went from this trash can, you're putting trash in it, which is the toxins. You're putting the toxins in the trash, which are your kidneys, your liver, your detox pathways, your lymphatic system, all of that, right? All of those things. You're putting the trash in daily, like multiple times a day. And say, okay, cool. Your kidneys, they're moving strong, whatever, they can handle it. And now all of a sudden, you like amplified because you started eating even crappier. You're adding more perfumes, you're adding more toxic things into your life, right? Maybe that's your reality right now. And all of a sudden, your detoxification pathways can't keep up. And now all of a sudden, like instead of just being able to take out the trash once a day, like you need to take it out every hour, or all of a sudden this trash is all over the floor in the kitchen. It's leaking into the living room. It's leaking into the bedrooms. Like imagine that's what's happening with your pathways right now. And what happens when that trash is all out all over the place? It starts to stink. It starts to smell so disgusting, like everything. Like you could just imagine the mold that starts growing, all of these things, right? So that's how I visualize what's going on in my body when my body cannot detox fast enough. And I'm not ever saying a detox as in weight loss and things like that. No, this is just to help you upkeep your immune system. When your detoxification pathways are backed up, your immune system goes down. So if you are getting sick a lot, or if you are, just not fully functioning, if you're constantly tired and bogged down, all of that is connected. So going from candles and the perfume, right? Like those were one of the first things to go. And I switched to Low-Tox. And then even I started making Low-Tox, No-Tox candles for my company, the Marriage Skipping Journal. And now I'm at a point where I have all the things and I just make my own candles with plain wax. I don't even put scent in it. Sometimes I'll do essential oil. I used to. Now I just do plain wax because honestly, I just love the ambiance of a candle burning. I don't need the scent. I use a essential oil burner, whatever, oil burner to burn those oils if I want some scent, or I burn some Palo Santo or sage or something like that that's a little more natural. if I want something in the air. But I have gotten very used to not having some sort of scent in the air. And that was really hard because I also was that person that had those damn plugins in my wall, those Glade plugins with the scent. Oh my God, I used to buy those all the time. I always wanted my house to smell good. I had zero idea that that was disrupting my hormones. And as a female, if you're wanting to have babies and reproduce, like, oh my gosh, like that's a killer right there. Going through this process of learning about these things. And at first I was in denial about all of it. I really was. I was like, okay, maybe I just won't burn it as much. And then when you like really clicks in, you're just like, you literally can't go to light that candle. You can't go to put that plug in because you're like, what am I doing? I'm literally like killing myself by putting these chemicals in my house, right? And then from there, it came me detoxifying my entire cleaning supply. I went from literally, it's like what you grew up with, right? Like, or just what you see, what you're advertised to use, the bleach, the Clorox, the Windex, the scent spray, the floor cleaner with all the yummy smells in it, right? Oh my gosh. I went from doing all of that to now literally vinegar and lemon essential oil. That's it. And water. That's what I used to clean. In my bathroom, shower, and my toilet, when there gets a situation where, because right now where we live, the ventilation, it seems to pick up mold a lot faster, or just like that grum and scum, right? So we'll use a little bit of bleach when we have to just kind of like do a deep clean in those two areas only. But you won't feel or see or smell me using any sort of chemicals on my floors because even though I love to wear slippers inside, I have my dog, Milo. Milo, his paws don't have any protection. So he's absorbing everything in the floors, right? So I'm mindful even of that. You know, we lay on the floors, we walk sometimes barefoot, all of that. I don't want to be smelling all those things, right? So that was another thing that I went to with detoxifying all of like the house stuff, tackling just like foods and stuff like that. And like I said, I was already in the health and wellness industry, so I understand how to eat. But here's the thing. What I didn't really realize was a lot of the ingredients and stuff like that and a lot of supplements are not good at all. In fact, when I really learned about, different colors and different preservatives and all these different chemicals that they put in foods, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's listed on my protein powder. And this is something I'm eating every single day. And this is something that's advertised to me that is supposed to make me healthy and lose weight. Yeah, it's also got the same chemicals in it that are literally messing up my detox pathways and putting an extra load in there to help filter out. So it's like, make this make sense. But you want to know why all these companies do this stuff? Why they add all these chemicals and all that? Because it's cheaper. It is much cheaper. And I know this for a fact because even when I started making these Low-Tox candles for my company with like raw natural candle wax with essential oils, it is so much more expensive for me to buy those supplies at a manufacturer level. It is so much more expensive for me to buy those supplies than to just get the chemical fake stuff. It's crazy. So I understand why I do it. It's capitalism. It's driving to make things better, smell really good, look really good, and to do it in the cheapest way possible, which is just so sad that like this is what it has come to. And I always wonder in these situations, like, how did we get here? How it was like just along the way, someone just like said yes to something, someone approved something, someone let something slide. And now all of a sudden we live in this reality with so many toxins and it's affecting us, right? It's affecting our next generation. Like, look at all the children that are just born with different, disabilities and all that sort of stuff. Like, it is terrifying and scary at the same time. So anything that you can do to start detoxifying your home, which in turn will naturally start detoxifying your body, is so important. Okay, babe, I know you're listening to this podcast because I know that you have a desire to change your life and accomplish big goals, right? But I also know that something has been holding you back on going after those big goals. Or maybe it's that you self-sabotage, or maybe you've set these big goals and you get really overwhelmed and you just don't go after them altogether. Well, I want to introduce you to a journal that is literally going to help you change your life and help you actually manifest and accomplish any desires or goals that you have. It's called the Manuscripting Journal, and it's the #1 selling manifestation and goal setting journal designed exclusively for empowering women just like you to up level and change your life. Now, if you haven't seen this journal on social media already, I want to share with you that it is literally your personal guide to manifesting your dreams and unlocking your true potential. And inside its beautifully curated pages, you'll discover powerful daily journaling pages, workbooks, and exercises to help you set goals, help you plan your dreams, and manifest the life that you deserve. Plus, the one thing that I had to include, and it was a non-negotiable with this journal, is that it needed to have a community. So you'll also have access to join an online community filled with thousands of women just like you who are on the same path using the journal. So I invite you to join me and these thousands of women who have already embraced the power of manifestation and changed their life using the Manuscripting Journal. And I also want to gift you with a special 15% off code on your first journal order by using the code Money Mindset. The code is Money Mindset. So head over to manuscripting.com today and embark on a transformative journey by ordering the journal. So go ahead, check out the show notes, empower yourself. Answer the call to getting this journal. If this is speaking to you, I want you to join us. It's time to script your dreams into reality with the Manuscripting Journal because you deserve to create and manifest a life that you're completely obsessed with. See show notes for details. And then from there, what also we did was we started purifying the air. So we bought a bunch of different air purifiers. We have them in our home. We definitely have one in our bedroom where we sleep, in my office, and in the living room. Those 3 rooms specifically, because that's where we spend the most time. And you would be so shocked. Like even when I lived in LA at the beach, had beautiful, clean, you think it's clean ocean air coming in. We were cleaning out these filters, once a month or twice or once every other month. And it was just be loaded with junk. And this is the same air that you're breathing in every single second of the day, right? Put those in along with really being mindful of cleaning out our HVAC. So like your AC unit, your heater unit, those filters as well. We forgot to do it for I think 4 or 5 months when we moved into our new home. And when we opened it up, we were disgusted with the air. And that's literally air that's being pulled in through your home and into the circulation system, right? It's not coming from outside, technically, like it is, but it's air that's being pulled up into the system from your own home. So it was just terrifying to see that. And we started getting really mindful of it. With all of this, I was just really just starting to be more mindful. And it's not something I became super crazy obsessed with. But the one thing that I noticed is now over time, say today, if you came over and if you hung out with me and you were just doused in perfume, I'd be like, you got to go, because I would be sneezing. I would literally start sneezing right away because my body instantly reacts to these different chemicals, as these invaders, this is not normal. This is not right. So if you were maybe listening to this and you're like, well, I wear perfume, I burn these candles, I don't see anything. It's because your body has gotten so used to it. It's like getting used to something and all of a sudden, your body's just immune, right? That's how it usually, that's what happens. So I guarantee you, if I started wearing perfume again and candles, I think, the first maybe weeks or months or something like that, I probably would be okay. I mean, I probably would have a reaction, but then I would get to a point where I'd be okay with it. Just like I was a million years ago. I would douse myself in that Bath and Body Works and I'd burn, that vanilla bean candle and that ocean mist something else, right? Oh my gosh, it's wild to think back and be like, dang, how much damage were we doing to our bodies back then? And luckily, unfortunately, a lot of it is quote unquote reversible. it is in a sense reversible by taking that stuff out of your bodies, by just clearing it out. And I've used a lot of different supplements for this. There's a lot of different greens, powders, and even just with like different like garlics and onions and turmeric and lowering the inflammation and things like that. And I did a bunch of different detoxes, like I did do, or even just use supplements. Like, for example, I'm a fan. I don't agree with everything right now with what medical medium says, but the Cleanse to Heal book and just looking at the different, what I love about his Cleanse to Heal book is all the backside of the dictionary where it shows all these different ailments and things that you can take for that. Like you can take ashwagandha or cat's claw or this, that, and whatever, or iodine and zinc. And it was like literally my Bible to help me detox certain things out. And I did feel a huge difference. And I like literally, like it's my Bible. Like that's my thing that I go to when anyone in my family is having an issue, like someone would complain about something. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Let me go check this book because I have seen huge results with it. I'm here to say as of yesterday or the day before, he did post something about, medicinal mushrooms being bad for you. And that's where I'm like, but we are about to break up because I don't seriously, like mushrooms from the ground. You're now trying to tell people they are bad. But different story for a different time. We'll go into plant medicine one of these days. But with everything else, like truly, like I have tested it. Highly recommend that book. And just also using your discernment as well and doing your own research on things too. Like, for example, there are certain people like him that there's so much that I agree with. I've literally been following for years. And just yesterday or the day before, he had posted something about medicinal mushrooms. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've literally just like, no, that is, and you can actually see the comments on that post. If you follow him, I think 99% of people disagreed with that post of what he said. And I think there might be a different agenda behind that. But regardless, I do agree with a lot of stuff that he says. So if you're in a place where maybe you have some things that you want to detoxify or help your body release with, that's a really good book. There's plenty of other books. That's just one that I started using a long time ago. And it's just been freaking amazing for me. Using different supplements, I don't want to go through and list and like all of them or any of them. I just want to talk about briefly with them. But supplements are such a great way to help your body detox these things out. Truly, like I said at the beginning of this episode, is our bodies do need that extra help. And using different plants and herbs and tinctures and supplements, I do 100% believe like we need to be doing that because we're not getting it from our food sources. We're not getting all those vitamins and minerals and all those sorts of things. And there's a whole other chain reaction events that isn't happening in our bodies because we're so far from being a natural human. Like, we're so far from it today. And even though I guess we've kind of evolved, not really, like nothing in our bodies changed. We still have the same heart and blood and functions and nothing of that has changed. So we do need to help support it in a loving way. And really to just kind of like wrap this up is just me being super mindful about the makeup that I buy, that even the shampoo and conditioner and lotion or not lotion. And I usually now do things just as natural as possible. Like even for a hair mask, like I'm at a point where I'm just using coconut oil. I feel like I'm using coconut oil for so many things. Like, okay, I'll give you babes, even if it's a little secret. Like, I don't know if you guys use lube ever for, doing the thing. Coconut oil. That's what I use. I don't buy any of this bottled chemical stuff. Like I'm at a point now where I'm like, if I'm putting things in my body or on my body, apart from like some makeups and stuff, like I'm really trying to get to like the most natural state, but especially with your vagine, oh my gosh, like be as natural as possible. And we use like organic, extra virgin coconut oil. Literally have a jar from the freaking grocery store, you know, that you put in your kitchen. Like it's in our bedroom, it's on our nightstand. Like that's what we use. And I have this little wooden spoon with it, and it's amazing. And I don't feel gross after. Like I don't have to go like try and shower it off. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just natural. It feels good. And it's so actually good for your vagine. Like I think that's one of the things that you want to use. Like if you ever have like an infection or something like that. I don't remember about that because it's been a million years since I've had one of those, because I treat my body so well, which again, if you're having different issues with your body, it's always going to start coming back to your detox pathways. It just is. That's your immune system. You know, when things are out of whack and out of balance, it's something's going on. And I guarantee you, it's probably something that you're doing, eating on a daily or frequent basis that's messing it up. And it's just always going back to natural health, right? It's going back to treating our bodies like these beautiful temples that they are. And then let's see, what else did I do? Oh, let's talk about alcohol and drugs and all that sort of stuff. So I used to drink very heavily. I was a party girl. Let's just name it that. I was a party girl. It was really fun and I really enjoyed it. And even though my entire life, my mom told me not to drink, I loved to rebel against that because I didn't want to be told what to do. So that was me back then. Then in like, I don't know, my late 20s, early 30s, I would still like, I don't know, have those nights of going out and binge drinking and then not drinking at all for a while. And then it turned into just sparingly. And throughout COVID, it was very sparingly. Also, when I started dating Mark 5 years ago, he is sober. So the beautiful thing about when you're dating someone that is sober, and Mark does not give a crap whether I drink or not. He could care less. Like he will literally, when we first started dating, like we'd go out and go to the bar or party or dinner, whatever. I'd order drinks and stuff. Like there was no shame around that, whatsoever. But the beautiful thing about that is that by living with him and, you know, being with him, I didn't even want to drink because I didn't want to drink alone. Right. So it limited my drinking. And now, as of 6 months ago, it will be 7 months on February 5th. I have not drank alcohol. So I did not set off to be sober by any means. I think at one point, like back there in July, I just decided not to drink. You know what it was? I was going into a plant medicine ceremony and you needed to have your temple cleared for that. And alcohol was one of the things, of course, you don't want to do. So I think it was like 3 weeks before or something like that, maybe 2 weeks. And I was like, cool, I'm not going to drink. Went into the plant medicine ceremony. After that, of course, I didn't want to drink because I just the experience, how I felt so good. It was like all these downloads, all of that. And then I just didn't drink. And then all of a sudden a month had gone by and I hadn't drank. And then whenever I was out or something, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to break this. I'm feeling really good. That was a very powerful experience in medicine. And I'm just going to continue not drinking. And then all of a sudden, it got to a point where I was out at events and I would drink mocktails to begin with. Now I don't need that at all, but that was my crutch. And it got to a point where I was out or at a party or an event. And, you know, people were like, do you want to drink? Do you want this? And I'd be like, in my head, I'm like, it's not worth for me to break my non-drinking streak for this event. Like this event wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't fun enough. It wasn't this. And all of a sudden I've just gotten to a point where I'm like, I feel so damn good all the time. It's one less thing I have to worry about detoxing out of my system. And not to say that I'm never going to drink again. I don't know if I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I just haven't had that desire. And I don't know. I just haven't had the need. But it's been a really great experience to see just how my body is and just feeling good all the time, not having that anxious energy post drinking or that hangover post drinking. And I'm always feeling good and I'm always feeling up for stuff. And I remember nights out and I remember conversations, and it's just been so great. So if you are in a place where you want to try not drinking for a bit, like please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to share more on what I did, or even just like going down that plant medicine route, which I know I have to do an episode on that because it is such a big part of my life right now. But really just being in this space of not drinking and not being excited about it. And I also don't miss it. Like I don't miss it at all, like at all. It's wild and it feels so, so good. Really, when it comes to your lifestyle, like where can you improve it as far as these toxins go? And I'm not saying that you have to now go out and buy an air purifier and change out all of your candles and throw away all of your shitty makeup or, start buying fully all organic stuff like that, right? Like that's very expensive and that's just a lot, just like any lifestyle change. Like that's a lot to do, but just start being a little mindful. Oh, and I'll leave you with like probably the most quote unquote expensive one outside of like shopping organic. For us, shopping organic, it's become a lifestyle. Like it doesn't, we live with the cost of it for so long. It doesn't even, it's not a thing. But the one thing that really was hard, not hard, but it was expensive to do, and we started this when we were still in LA, is get the like, is it like raw unfiltered water? I don't know. It comes from the springs, like literally like after a month or so, if we don't clean out the water holder, like you literally start getting that algae green in it. Like so good. that's how crazy pure it was, which was amazing. And it's so funny because a lot of people, it freaks it out. They're like, oh my God, don't you get sick? And it's like, no, because it's like good, healthy bacteria. Like it's not just because it's got that going on. It's not a bad thing. But that's what we started doing. That was a very expensive route to start and go. But at the same time, we've just seen like a really good benefit. Like Mark was someone that would suffer with eczema and he'd have breakouts all the time. And before I moved in and kind of made a lot of shifts in his life, like those started to go away slowly but surely. And I do believe that it was the lifestyle before that was kind of creating these things in his body. Because I 100% believe like eczema, it's not an outside thing. It's an internal thing. 100%. With all the research that I've done, it's all happening because stuff's out of whack internally. But we also, now living in Austin, we get a water delivery service of like spring, like really good water. That was a big one because even any sort of water filtration system, even like the water filter on the fridge, all of that coming from the taps, like that's not going to cut it in my world. And hopefully when we do move into, I don't know how long we're staying in our current house, so we're not going to go through the whole process of putting some crazy, awesome, expensive water filtration system on the home in general, so we can use that water. But this is what we're doing now. And then also we do have water filters on all of our showers as well. And my next step, I'm trying to figure out how to get the water filters to put them on the taps, but our taps are kind of like modern funky. I'm like, how the heck is it going to attach? I don't even know if it's possible, but that's going to be my next step as well. So just really being mindful of like, where can we make the next improvement? And we didn't do all of these things at once. It really just started with the food, cleaning supplies, obviously like candles, plugins, that sort of stuff, exiting those out. And then from there, like then it was like, oh my gosh, I learned about water. And then, oh my gosh, I learned about, I do need to purify the air, even though I have no chemicals in my home. Like, of course, outdoor pollutants or furniture and stuff like that, off gassing and offsetting. Like, oh my gosh, you could drive yourself crazy with these things, right? But those were all things that we started doing. And I really do truly believe that is one of the biggest reasons we don't get sick. I don't even have a doctor, nor have I seen a doctor in like 8+ years maybe. And I think the only reason I even went to a doctor like 4 or 5 years ago is when I completely fractured my ankle. And I had to go see and make sure like, hey, what do we do here? Can I just like walk this off, or we need a cast or something? But truly, I do truly believe, and it always just shows too. It shows in your skin, in your hair health, in your body, in your weight. How easy is it for you to lose weight? How easy is for you, like how quickly you gain weight? Is your hair, is it healthy? Is it strong? Is it brittle? Even eyesight, and just, oh my gosh, literally everything on your body is a representation of what's going on internally. What it comes down to with all of this is, what can you do? And I also don't want this episode to like scare you, but at the same time, I just feel like not enough people are talking about this stuff, because I think you also do kind of get put into this maybe kind of conspiracy theorist pile, because everything that is so wrong in this world with everything I just talked about has become so normal. And if you are doing something outside of that, where you're not eating something, where you're trying to make something better, or you're going the chemical free route, like, you're the fucking weirdo. And it's so sad. Like, we've literally been brainwashed to believe that because it's on the shelves in the store, that it's okay for us. And it's so far from the truth. Just follow the money. And I won't get into this stuff because I can really go down the rabbit hole with how things work in our world and how everything is funded by big pharma, and everything is meant to just keep us sick and unhappy and ill. And I know you could be sitting there and being like, well, you know what? Like, I really enjoy eating this food, and I really love my scented candles. And, I'm just going to enjoy the time that I have left. And sure, that's fantastic mentality, because I'm not trying to scare anyone with this stuff. It's just like, I hope I brought you some awareness today with this episode. But what I'm trying to say here is like, wouldn't you want to feel the best for the rest of your years? Wouldn't it be great if you go through your entire life without a major illness, or succumbing to cancer, or, getting so unhealthy that like makes you become like super overweight, or have some other health issues, or seeing a family member go through that, right? Like, no one wants that. And most of us don't think about our health and our environment until something bad like that happens, because we never believe or think it will happen to us. It's always going to be thy neighbor. It's always going to be somebody else, until it happens in our own backyard. And when that starts happening, a lot of times it's too late. The damage has been done, or it's too far gone where you can't reverse the damage that's been done. I'm very passionate, as you can see, about this topic. I know I don't talk about it enough, even on social media. I think it's because it's become so second nature to me. Like, this is my lifestyle. And I also feel like, wow, doesn't everybody do this? But when I saw this question in our community, I was like, oh my gosh, like, let's dive in, let's dive deep. And I just hope there's something that you got out of this today. And I know that there's probably so many things that I forgot about and didn't mention, but those were like the biggest main things that I really started paying attention to. And it has made such a difference in my life and Mark's life, and of course Milo's life too, because he's a part of this journey with us. I would love to know if you have any other questions regarding this, if you want any resources, or maybe you have questions about certain items. I know I didn't get super specific with products and stuff like that, but if you have any questions about certain things that I use or don't use, or my opinion on things, like, please feel free to reach out, send me a DM, and share this episode with anyone that you think may need a little bit of a nudge or help with changing and cleaning up their lifestyle. Because in turn, when your temple is healthy and clear, we do better in the world, right? We're happier, we're more excited, and in turn, we're more connected, not only just to ourselves and our power, but to divine source, whatever source that is that you believe in. And when you're that connected, you're going to be able to just manifest things even faster, right? So use this as kind of a point of motivation. I'm sure you don't even need any more after listening to this, but take what is serving you from this and implement it. And maybe down the road, when this kind of marinates a little more, you will make more changes, and you're just going to live the best and happiest life ever. Because at the end of the day, that's all I want for me and my people: to be happy, live a long and beautiful life, and just enjoy this reality to its fullest potential. So with that, I thank you so much for listening. I love you so, so much, and I will see you in the next episode.